Hello, I'm Gruler65, and this is all about armor. What if ship combat in Space Engineers 2 wasn't about shooting health bars? What about engineering? Imagine missiles detonating harmlessly against spaced armor, railguns punching through hull layers, and shields that can actually be bypassed by small strike craft. Instead of simple durability numbers, ships survive because they were designed intelligently. Today, we're going to break down a combat system where armor design, shields, and weapon penetration all work together to make ship battles far more interesting. Now, let's talk weapon interaction. Weapons shouldn't just deal damage, they should have characteristics like penetration, deflection, explosive effects, your typical high explosive, and then also shattering. Take explosive, for example. If a missile detonates against spaced armor 2 meters away from the hull, the blast radius, let's say the blast radius is 3 meters, right? The explosion should destroy the outer plate, but leave the hull intact. This means space armor actually works as intended. Kinetic weapons would also behave differently, depending on the angle and armor type. Gatling guns might penetrate the armor, like thin armor, bounce off heavy angled plates. Autocannons might punch through medium armor, but deflect at shallow angles. Railguns could punch through multiple layers entirely, depending on size, and this kind of creates a rock, paper, scissors relationship between weapons and armor design. And this isn't even talking about torpedoes, missiles, and other such things. Now let's get controversial. Let's talk about shields. Instead of being a giant health bar like the old mods for SE1 are, and just, what most people think of when they think shields, let's design a little bit more of a dynamic system. Instead of being a giant health bar, shield strength should depend on three things: the emitter size, small, medium, and large, the emitter quantity, and the power output by the reactors. Emitters wouldn't have a hard output cap, but they would become less efficient the more power you push into them. So instead of one massive shield generator, players are encouraged to build distributed shield systems across their ships. But this is where it gets interesting. Each emitter would only protect a portion of the ship. For example, a small emitter might cover roughly 25 square meters of the hull around where it's installed. So if your ship is only about 70 meters long or so, you'll need one emitter in the front, one in the back, and then one down the center. Depending on the height of the ship, you'll also might need emitters in the top or bottom or various other angles that you might be building your ship. This turns shield placement into an engineering challenge. And basically the way that these work is they would interlace with each other to make a skin shield, and you would obviously have UI or something else that shows you where you're deficient or you have a little bit of an extension that you don't need in your shield system. The more power you push into an emitter, the farther away from the hull the shield projects. Small emitters create shields that hug the ship's surface. Large emitters create bigger shields, bubbles. And that creates an interesting weakness. When a shield sits far away from the hull, it creates a gap between the shield and the ship. Small strike craft or specialized torpedoes could slip inside the gap and hit the hull directly. Though larger ships may have stronger shields, but they also create opportunities to bypass those shields. Meanwhile, smaller ships have weaker shields, but those shields also hug the hull more closely, making them harder to slip through. And small emitters recharge faster, while large emitters are slower to recharge but provide significantly more protection. So shields become a design trade-off, not just extra health. Now that we're done with the controversial stuff, let's get back to armor. Let's give you a view of what you might be looking at, right? Just with armor. So imagine a ship with layered defenses. You have external armor where missiles detonate against the spaced armor and it blows away the outer plates. Gatling fire peppers the hull, bouncing off the angled armor, and autocannon shells ricochet off some reinforced slabs that you have. A railgun finally punches through your hull, but it stops on some internal spaced armor that's protecting your reactor. And eventually a heavy railgun lands a braking shot that gets you right down the middle, man. It hits your hydrogen tank and you're gone. That's the end. But this kind of system rewards engineering, creativity, and smart chip design. Ships don't survive because they have the most health, they survive because they were built well. And in a game about building spacecraft, that's exactly how combat should work. Thank you for your time. Let me know what you guys think. This has been me. I'll probably do one about, you know, armor, or not armor, but maybe more in depth on the shields, maybe some power systems that I've thought about. I'd love to dive into the heat management on this too. I think heat's a great way to kind of limit the amount of weapons that a hull can have, all that kind of stuff. So let me know what you guys think. This is my first video, so hopefully it's decent. You guys have a great one. Thank you.